I am Cristy Nix. Welcome to the Quantum Alignment Show. We are today covering basically how to start aligning your business, right, with your human design. And this is something I get asked from my clients all the time. And usually that's where we're starting, because when I started learning about human design, a couple of years ago, and it was all about me, right? And then I came back to it and started integrating with all the business. And it's a little bit different structure. So that's what we're going to talk about today. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and we will go ahead and get started. Okay, so this is all about starting to align your business with your human design. I am Cristy Nix. I'm glad to see you guys here. And we're going to be really talking about, how you use your energy. We're not going to be in your strategy and alignment to get everything working in a very smooth process. A lot of the times we're pretending to be someone else, or we're basically taught to do business in a different way. And so hopefully a lot of this languaging will be something that you can practically use and actually apply to your business. We'll be talking about, how to make those aligned decisions, to know when to take an opportunity versus not, how to use specific marketing for specific types, as well as how to design your business to actually, be the business model that really works for you. So at the end, I'll be talking about a quick starter class that I'll be offering, where we'll go deeper into actually what is in your chart and looking at your chart to look at your design and where your business is showing up there. Okay, so a little bit about me. I am a serial entrepreneur. I am a emotionally defined manifesting generator or time bender, right? 3-5 profile, which means that I like to experiment and try things. And if they don't work, I'll move on to something else. But also I like to universalize. And once I wrap my mind around something, I like to translate it. I have that 12/22 channel. So I like to translate things and move them to practical use and bite-sized pieces. That's my 5 line. So, and teaching has always been my thing. It's amazing how everybody has a different perspective. I, for the longest time, was a teacher I taught myself jewelry design after I left corporate America. I mean, hasn't everybody left corporate America at this point? To do jewelry design, and I self-taught. It was all self-taught until I went and got my fabrication degree in jewelry design. So I had a minor, major in fashion design and a minor marketing, went into IBM, came out on the other side going, oh no, I'm not doing that. And with the jewelry design, it was very freeing of me because it's very creative. But when I found human design, I was being basically an intuitive business guide. And I found that using my intuition has always been really easy for me. And then going into, I've always been interested in who you are and how you work. And especially for myself, discovering exactly, how I do work, and, this explains things and this doesn't. Getting into being a certified hand analyst, there's been a lot of things, but human design has really been the go-to piece that explains things on a level where I'm like, okay, this is a great starting point for me to grow. It's not something where it pins me in a box. And I've always been really connected to business and communication and how to put yourself out there in a very authentic way, and not do everything like everybody else. And human design is an amazing thing to help doing that. So what I do now is I have a community of sensitives and creatives, and I help them understand who they are, how they work, what they're here to put out into the world, and help them start that journey and that process of allowing themselves to be who they are. And I think human design is a fabulous way to articulate that. So this is information that I did learn from one of Karen's workshops a couple of years ago, Business by Design. And it was just eye-opening for me because I was really into human design and I wanted to consume anything and everything that people were putting out into the world. And the Business by Design was one of those workshops where I was like, oh my gosh, I totally get this and I totally understand and I love this. And then it's kind of interesting because as a manifesting generator, I tend to, have this great idea and it sounds so exciting. And then I kind of get into it and go, no, maybe not right now. And I kind of put it off to the side and then come back later. And I'm finding out that that's our mastery process. We'll go into that in a minute. But yeah, so all of this class is something that I have basically learned over the last 4 years, personally, as well as from authors and other mentors and things like that. But Karen was a big piece of this. So ultimately, your business and your marketing, your business structure, how you attract clients, it's all about first doing what you're pulled to do, okay? Structuring your business, it's really using the work of your energy instead of pushing yourself or forcing yourself to be 9 to 5. Not all of us are cut out to be 9 to 5. I mean, I remember doing quite a few jobs in between all my other businesses that I've owned. And the 9 to 5 jobs were really stifling. One of them, I almost ended up in the hospital with pneumonia, walking pneumonia, after being in their environment for 7 months. So it's all about what feels good and really paying attention to your body and your energy and connecting with your sense of timing. And I have 7 gates defined in my route. So divine timing is a very, very, very big deal for me. And yeah, it's good to know instead of pushing against your design and swimming uphill. Okay, so some of the signs that your business is out of alignment. Now, I know a lot of us know about like our strategy and our authority, but in our strategy for each type, each energy type has their own sign, right? That they're out of alignment. But for most business owners, feeling under that constant pressure, to meet your goals, make your numbers, figure out why something's not working. Oh my goodness, if you have an open head, that's going to drive you nuts. And it's just a sign that you're not in the right place. You need to be down in your body, connecting to your spirit and your energy in order to get the answers that you need. Feeling overwhelmed and scattered, that is definitely a sign that you're in your head and there's too much information. It's almost like you need the ground in order to sort. Feeling exhausted and drained. I know even this as a manifesting generator, I have experienced being absolutely exhausted after teaching class. And I'm like, what's up with that? Or having 3 clients in a day can be really draining for me, and really paying attention to that energy flow and actually in my wave. And telling people up front that maybe that's not the best plan really helps me connect with all of that. Ooh, anxiety. So anxiety is for me, comes up with not knowing enough information. And it gives me anxiety or the perspective, the change in perspective to where you're like, okay, totally get it. And sometimes you just have to disconnect and let go in order for the perspective or information to come in, and it'll relieve the anxiety. Telling someone about what's going on will relieve the anxiety. And it's been very helpful to figure that out. And then feeling like you never have enough time to do it all, that is not paying attention to your energy flow and being out of strategy. Because you always have enough time. It's how you use your time and where you're putting your energy, because that is going to dictate how smooth everything feels. Okay, so getting back into alignment. When you're out, so one of the hardest things you can try and figure out is like, okay, so I've been knocked out, I was interrupted by my kid, or technology failed, or, a client, failed on me, or I didn't have a good session, or, whatever it is. It's hard sometimes to get back into alignment, and that can be, it's been a struggle for me. And then I find that just paying attention to what I'm pulled to do and just doing whatever I'm pulled. And for some of us, our pull will come from our G. center, which for a lot of people in chakra system is your heart. And I find that also that's being in the right place at the right time, correct? But sacral, I find for all of us sacral beings, generators, manifesting generators, or the alchemists and time benders, those people need to follow what they're pulled to do, and that's going to be a gut response. I mean, you literally feel your body move, like, ooh, yes, or oh, no, back and forth. So really paying attention to what lights you up, because things that are exciting and fun for my projectors are going to be something that you're going to go straight to. And then for sacrals, you know, those are going to be, what I like to think is that all of my centers have certain sounds and certain energies about them. And that's one thing, is that my sacral is like, ooh, sounds exciting. And that's how I know that this is something I need to pay attention to. Or I'll get the opposite and go, ooh, no, 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 no. It's almost like I need to put up space and a barrier between the two. So paying attention to what you're pulled to versus not is a very big deal. And then giving yourself permission. I find that with a lot of clients, that tends to be a really big issue, is that they're not giving themselves permission to be who they are. And it's creating quite the challenge in their business because they feel like they've got to do business. So, are you doing business like your type or like someone else? And I find that this can be true. I have a lot of projectors showing up thinking they're generators, and they are not. And it's one reason why they're burnt out, or heading that way, or recovering. Oh, recovering. And then generators acting like manifestors, manifesting generators acting like manifestors, manifestors acting like projectors. I mean, it's like we do not know who to be sometimes, especially with, like, I was raised with older generation parents, who I just totally freaked out when I found out that both of them were projectors. I could have sworn they were both generators. I thought my dad was a manifesting generator. Oh no, they're both projectors. And it was like totally eye-opening to why they were having the health problems they were, and how they felt disconnected, and just looking back and seeing. So doing charts on your family will, if you can, gives quite the eye-opener of how you might be conditioned to be something you're not. Okay, so there are 5 types in quantum design. There are the manifestors, who are the initiators, the generators, who are the alchemists, the manifesting generators, who are time benders, the projectors, who are orchestrators, and reflectors, who are calibrators. And I know Karen's gone over this quite a bit, but I wanted to just be clear. So we're going to start with manifestors. So doing business as an initiator or manifestor. So a manifestor's, well, basically initiator's manifesting process. I'm going to use that word 2 times. First, it's like they get an idea, according to my manifestor clients. They get a brilliant idea and they're like, ooh, this is good, you know, and they're very, you know, excited about it. It sounds very fun and exciting, depending on their authority. And they usually start telling everybody, or they usually don't tell everybody. That's a practice. So informing is something that we really need to learn how to do as initiators, just because informing people, a lot of times growing up, we would tell people, ooh, I so want to do this. And someone would either tell us, no, you can't, that's wrong, you know, or, you know, they would basically shut us down. And so we got to the point where you just don't put it out there anymore. And that's the whole point. By telling everybody every step of the way of what you're doing, and informing everybody, it's like, hey, I want to go to the mall. Hey, this sounds really good. Hey, this is what I'm doing now. Just by keeping everybody in the loop, allows basically everybody else to get out of your way and support you in doing whatever it is you want to do. It's amazing. And then taking inspired action. If it doesn't feel good and feel right, and I feel like a lot of us are starting to get in that habit, but it is definitely a practice. So one big thing about doing business as an initiator is quite simply, you're here to get things started. Then you're supposed to shift off and delegate. And this could be one of the hardest things for you to do. but you're not meant to. I mean, your energy, according to my clients, is more of a wave, almost like an emotional wave. But this one is pretty consistent for whoever, for however you're designed. And it's like when you're high in energy, you are like Energizer Bunny. You move super fast. You're like warp speed. You can get all sorts of things done, and then turn around. And when the energy starts to wane, you're like, ooh, maybe I shouldn't be doing this anymore. And what it is that it's actually telling you, well, it's time for body to rest. And then you can come back and pick it up and keep going. So it's a very big deal to pay attention to when your body needs to rest, because you need to wait and rest and get ready for that next burst of energy in order to make the next thing happen. You're a catalyst. You're here to just jumpstart the world and help all the rest of us open doors. So initiators in business, you are roughly 9% of the population. So there's not a lot of you. However, I find that quite a few people who have taught business and marketing in the past, a lot of them have been initiators. Like Marie Forleo is an initiator. I'm like, wow, didn't see that coming. And so, yeah, it's amazing to see how many people out there are, do what I do and you'll get what I created. And it's not quite true, but initiators can do that. They're here to make an impact and to lead from the inside out. Okay. They're here to get things started. They are the catalyst, help all the rest of us get things done and to create. They're also here, they need to delegate when they're finished creating. They're here to share their big ideas and to see the bigger picture, to share that bigger picture. And they totally hate when being told what to do. And how many people really enjoy being told what to do? But these in particular really rubs them the wrong way. And then not usually a good team player unless they're driving the bus. If they're driving the bus and it is their idea, they're good. If they're not, they're going to be really interested in just being, it's just me, because then they don't have to mess with anybody else. I know quite a few manifestors who really withdraw, and then unless they're like totally excited and on board with something, they want to be just left alone. So yeah, it can be hard for the rest of us who are really social. So initiators using their energy and their strategy, their energy, like I said before, comes in bursts or waves. Depends on how you see it. I'm really just trying to get you to pay attention and start noticing your energy. It's not usually, they're not usually designed for 9 to 5 work. They tend to be, my job, my life, my space. They need to tell others of their intentions in order to have everybody else get out of the way. They definitely have a creative flow or zone. And so I don't know with you other initiators out there, if you notice you being in the zone, and when you're in the zone, it's like you are consumed with whatever you're doing. And then you need to be able to tell everybody else, don't even bother. I need to stay here. Because that wave, once you're knocked out of that creative flow, it's very hard to get back in. So if you have an initiator in your life, that is something that it's almost like you need to start paying attention to. When they zone in and they're very laser focused on something, it's almost like let them alone, let them be, let them figure that out. And then when they're done, they'll surface and then they'll be ready and open to talk to me again. It'll make life easier. They really want peace. Oh, they so want peace and calm. That would be lovely. And then signs you're out of alignment would be their anger. And that will be spike. Usually when they're interrupted, there will be an anger spike. And it's just their sign that this is not in alignment with them. Okay, so in marketing, so marketing as an initiator. So an initiator, they are all about, it's really all about their voice. All about, speaking and writing and doing podcasts and video, anything that leverages their voice. So their marketing needs to be built around using their voice. And it needs to be something that's flexible enough where you're calling the shots, because something that's going to demand you to be that is not necessarily going to, if it doesn't align with your energy process, then it's not going to work for you. It'll end up making you sick. So staying back out of anything that forces you to, conform to something else is probably not going to be your best marketing. So it's almost like you need to have a bigger umbrella and then have pieces underneath that you can switch out so that you can be consistent without having to constantly be there. If that makes sense. So batching social media videos and stuff when you're in that good, great space and you want to talk, that would be the best. I've seen it most supportive of my clients is that you really want to use your voice when you have it and when it feels fun. Otherwise, not so much. If it's not exciting, you're not going to hire out what you don't enjoy doing. And I think this goes for all types. If you don't enjoy doing something, set your intention that you bring someone into your life who can support you in doing that. It'll free up all your other space to put your brilliance in. One thing I love about initiators is that you have to have the gumption when you have a great idea or a cause, something that really lights you up and excites you, then there's no reason why you cannot call that CEO, call the head or director of a company, of a movement, of anything, and lend your voice to talk to them because you are meant to open doors for the rest of us. You are the catalyst. You are the door opener. And so that initial conversation is something that you do very well. And so please, if you're pulled to talk to someone, don't be afraid of the big wigs because you are the ones who are meant to talk to them. Yeah, I mean, your audience is going to come from people totally getting on board with your cause, because once they hear your passion and connect with your passion and that energy of what you love so much, that cause is what's going to bring the people to you like a magnet. And then sending this is what I'm doing emails, those update emails, that is like made for you. And really utilizing that email list or any place where you can have a conversation where you're following up with people and letting them know, hey, this is what I'm doing now. So any of those social media platforms where you feel pulled and called to connect with people, that's what they want to hear from you. They want to know what's going on in your life, literally. So business models are going to be anything around your energy cycle. It's going to be, it could be automated products. You feel like teaching a class, record it, and then repurpose the content. Go through and being a speaker. One of my clients is a speaker. And once she really embraced the fact that she speaks and she connects and she gets people on board with her cause, as long as she has her team, she's had to build her team of generators and manifesting generators, basically, to really support her to where when she's done and her energy is waning, she can move right into rest period, and her team is totally on board and backs what she believes in. So they're going to be totally for whatever work she needs for them to do. So it's definitely something that you need to pay attention to when you're selecting your team, that they need to be really backing your cause and in alignment with your cause. Okay, so we're going to move into the next one, which is we're going to be talking about generators or alchemists. So an alchemist, I know there's been lately quite a few things around responding as a generator. And so for the alchemist, that manifesting process is getting a great idea and really visualizing, ooh, this would be fun. And it's like a picture in your head, right? Some of us are more defined manifestors versus not, but having a kind of an idea, like something pops in and you're like, ooh, that would be really exciting. Something shows up outside of you. You're like, ooh, yes, I would like to do that. Feels like it would be fun. A lot of the times we might need to write it down, because really what you need to do next is let it go and allow spirit or universe to bring something in for you to respond to outside of yourself. And this does not mean research the crap out of whatever your idea is, because been there, done that. And that does not help, because then you're focusing on the what you want to create, not necessarily letting it go and focusing your attention on something else and letting it bake, basically. So researching it is not letting it go, just to be clear. Focus your attention instead on other things on your plate, like busy work, updating your website if that's not what you usually do, taking the kids wherever, having some downtime, replanting everything in the front garden, whatever it is that you do that allows you to just be open to receive is one great way of letting go. And then wait for things to pop up outside of you. It could be a song on the radio. It could be newspaper headlines. It could be conversations in Facebook that you did not initiate and you did not start, right? But you're seeing other people around you talking about it, emails, all sorts of stuff. So those are signs, things that you did not create, you can respond to. Hope that feels better and more clear. Because as generators, generator types, the sacral lights up and says, ooh, 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 something we're paying attention to. Okay. And our spleen, if it's defined or not, will say, ooh, this is safe, not safe. Heads up, this is coming. My spleen is defined, so intuition. And then my emotional solar plexus is like, ooh, this feels really good. We should do that. And then my root tells me, you have energy to do this, you got time, let's go. And it's almost like a buzz. But man, when someone pulls that plug on your root, it's like nothing. Okay, just like, okay, evidently I don't have the energy to do that. And we get exhausted when we push through and keep pushing to get something done and not trusting ourselves and our own divine timing that when the time is right, we will finish. And this is all coming from a starter energy. I just like to start things. My husband gets pissed because I don't finish them. And it's like, well, but I'm a starter. I'm here to get things started. I'm not here to finish. Anyway, that's deeper in the chart. Okay, so alchemists in business. They are 38% of the population, thereabouts. Need to really focus on one thing at a time in your business instead of trying to multitask. You'll miss things if you multitask. Your energy will get them done faster if you focus. Here to help other people get things done. You're really good at moving mountains. And so people need you to help do that. You teach from experience. Okay, so here's one thing. The right work is actually your passion projects. It doesn't necessarily have to be your 9-to-5 job. I want that to sit for a minute. I heard Karen say that the other day, and I was like, oh my gosh, where was that? 10 years ago. And so I've noticed that with my generator husband. He enjoys his work, and he's a 9-to-5er. He enjoys his work, very social. He's a 4-6 profile. And but his right work, his passion projects are my son heading up part of the scout program for my son in Boy Scouts, but also soccer. Soccer is his passion. He loves soccer, loves watching soccer, loves talking about soccer. I mean, to the point of being completely droll. But it's what he loves. And it makes everything else easier when he can play soccer and engage in soccer. It lifts his mood, makes him feel more connected. And so you're a lot of the times okay doing something else as long as you have that passion project feeding you. Okay. And ultimately, they want to feel really satisfied with what they're doing. And they tend to be really good team players. And then they're best asked yes or no questions to get a clear answer. Okay. And in your marketing, you can ask yes, no questions. That gets conversation started and gives you something to respond to. So if you're sacrally defined, yes, no questions. If you are not sacrally defined, or no, if you're emotionally defined, then it's how do you feel about this? And we'll get into that in a minute. Ahead of myself. There's just so much to tell you. Okay, so the alchemists using their energy and their strategy, they need to respond to what grabs their attention. So anything that goes, ooh, kind of lights up for them, that's what it means to light up, to grab your attention. That response is in the now. So it's right now. Is that a yes or is that a no? Because no does not mean no forever. No means just no right now. It could be no, it could be yes in 10 minutes, but right now it's no. If you're emotionally defined, you need to wait until you feel really clear and not emotionally triggered by whatever it is, like super duper chihuahua and crack excited, or oh my goodness, are you kidding me? So I mean, you need to make sure that you pass through your wave in order to get emotional clarity on the other side. It will come, and when it is clear and your root energy clicks in, then you'll be like, ooh, it's time, let's go. And you can always ask sacral for signs. And your sign is going to be different from your friend's sign. It's going to be different from like Karen's sign because she's been manifesting generator, but she's a generator type. So everybody's going to have different kinds of signs. But you can always ask your sacral to show you proof, show you, if I'm meant to do this, show me. And you'd be amazed at what pops up. You can respond to clients. You can respond to Facebook conversations or emails or any type of perspective conversation that makes your eyes roll or makes you angry or makes you absolutely elated that you would do it a different way. You'd say it a different way. That's something to respond to. It's what someone else is asking you for. And it can also be whatever else is going on in the marketplace. So again, that could be newspaper. That could be something you get in your inbox. It could be something that a client says just offhandedly or something you overhear in another conversation. I hate to think you're eavesdropper, but hey, sometimes you hear things for a reason. So yeah, there's all sorts of things to respond to. We're constantly getting things to respond to. So paying attention to what lights up for you or gets your attention, that's the key to it all, people. I mean, basically, alchemists are here to respond to what lights you up. You have all the energy you need for that project if it lights you up. That's what it's telling you. This is a yes. This is a yes. You get in it, you try it out, get it done. If it doesn't work, because, I know a lot of alchemist clients have problems with overcommitting, saying yes to everything. You can say no. A lot of the time it's just not paying attention to sacral or having some conditioning that you need to work on. And then also for alchemists, having that response just really allows you to check things out, but quit if not feeling it, then it's not for you. But you don't have to say yes to everything. Just mental note. So, saying no is one of the hardest things you'll probably ever learn to do. Okay, so what mastery looks like for alchemists. Okay, so I've had interesting conversations around this. It's really about practicing and doing things until you get to the point where you know it like the back of your hand. I can totally do this with my eyes closed. You have mastered that. And it will take a lot of practicing and learning in order to do that. Okay, so marketing for alchemists. Know what the next steps are. You always know what's next, what's coming, what would be a great next step. You can't do anything until there's something outside of you that you did not create to respond to. So asking yes, no questions is initiating, basically creating a conversation, but it's asking for, a response in a way that is them sitting in their energy and responding. So asking powerful yes, no questions allows people to respond to you, but allows you also to respond to them. And the key is to put it out there without expecting a response. I know how crazy that sounds. We'll talk about that in a minute. So share what you're passionate about, and your audience will totally be on board with you because your passion, that energy is what they're connecting to. So the minute they're connected with that energy, your audience will be like, oh, I want to know more about this because, I am totally on board with her energy. How you say it, how you connect with it, that's what your audience is therefore going to connect to. So create what you're pulled to do, what you're pulled to create. Download it, open head. You need to probably write everything down. But yeah, do what you're pulled to do, but wait to put it out there until you get a sign. It's time. Someone will ask you for it. You'll see it pop up around, in other groups on Facebook, or you'll see it show up on Instagram like 10 times. But the minute you see it, your sacral will go, ooh, pay attention. And that's when you're like, oh, that's my sign. Someone says it to you in passing, and they might not mean what you think it means, but the words resonate with you and they're your outside sign. It'll always come from outside of you. Okay, business models. So basically, alchemists, man, you have free reign, dude. You do live classes, retreats, courses, whatever really lights you up. You need to also think about repurposing your content, allowing like evergreen things, creating classes online, creating online products, all of that stuff, and building it up is what's going to build up your income base. So when you have a class, record it. And then, use pieces of that class as a tiny course. Break it up into, things that you've created a long time ago that resonate with this particular topic. You can put those into product pieces and use them for opt-ins or freebies. It's amazing how much content we really have created when we look back. Your passion is where all your money is. So what you're really passionate about, for you to think that you can't make money doing something, that's like, so pisses me off. But when you feel really strongly about something and you love something, you're like, I don't know how to make money doing it. It's like, so that passion needs to come through your words and how you connect and communicate, the actions you take online. And that will allow others, what you share, that passion will connect with them and that'll bring them in. And people will ask you for things and then you'll have something to respond to. So hire out what you don't love doing, because no one wants to do, unless you're really, 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 really into accounting, no one really wants to do that. And Alchemists, I know you can do it. You can do it all. You have the energy to do it all, but no, you shouldn't have to. Just saying, giving you permission. Okay, so now we're shifting into time bender, which is manifesting generator, which is what I am. And so with the manifesting process, I've had a lot of ahas around this in the last couple of months. And so for me, it looks like I have an idea, it pops into my head. I'm like, ooh, that would be super fun, right? So it lights up for me. And I'm thinking, oh yeah, that would be super fun. I really think that would be fun because I'm envisioning it and it kind of what it looks like. And I'm thinking, that could really work out. That would be awesome. And then I go and I tell someone. And it might be my husband who has absolutely no interest in the work I do. Or it could be, my best friend who does, nonprofit stuff. So just sharing it to share, not with agenda. You're just sharing it to share, allows universe to go, oh, they're serious about actually liking this. And then letting go, focusing on something else, doing your daily work, doing your busy work, doing, painting the house, whatever it is. Other than that, focus on all the other stuff, your kids, your family, and allow things to come up outside of you. And then if that feels like that is the right opportunity, that's, because sacral will say, ooh, pay attention, right? But you also have to check in with emotional, does that really feel right? Versus, your root, which is going to say, yes, your divine timing is correct. It's time. You'll have that buzz about you. It'll go. You just have to pay attention to your process and how it comes in for you. So in business, I'm not going to go through all of these. You can read them all if you want. So we're 35% of the population, thereabouts. We're here to create shortcuts. We're here to do the work, jump ahead, skip steps. Sometimes we've got to come back and fix them because we really needed that step and didn't know it. And then we're here to tell everybody else, okay, so this is what I did. This really worked. This is the most direct way to do something. Okay. And then time benders tend to be very straightforward and direct. So I don't know if that's true about you, if you're a time bender, but for me, I'm very straightforward and direct. I'm not going to pussyfoot around it. This is where we are. Okay. So needs to be patient. Yeah. So no one else moves as fast as you do. Initiators, when they have that burst, they're going to move fast, but time benders tend to be, when they're moving fast, they're really moving fast. And when they rest and slow down, that's like one of the hardest things it has been for me to rest and slow down. I had to break 2 limbs in order to do that, not at the same time. And it's been kind of crazy to slow down. Okay, hates to be interrupted. Yeah, especially when you're in that creative flow and you're in that focus, you're in that zone, you're like whipping stuff out and you're creating stuff. And then all of a sudden you get, hello. It's like, no. And it's hard to articulate. It's hard to put words to that because the minute you say anything, you get thrown out of that creative flow and it's like, you're not getting it back. And so nothing will make you more angry. It's a little spike. So we are the ultimate 9-to-5ers. We are the ultimate multitaskers. We are not typically 9-to-5ers unless we are driving the bus. If we have That's what makes us great entrepreneurs. But if we have a team that's supporting us, then we're good as long as we can do it our way. When we can't do it our way, we tend to have a little bit, because eventually we're going to want to do it our way anyway. We're one of the only ones that needs multiple streams of income. So in order to not self-sabotage your business, you can have an overall umbrella of like human design, and then have coaching and creative process and painting and writing and course creation and all these other facets that feed into human design, right? If you're coaching with that, or if you're a healer, multiple facets of healing underneath your overall healing umbrella. That's multiple streams of income, not just one stream where you're only doing coaching, you're doing multiple facets. Because as manifesting generators, it's almost like we don't have enough to think about. So if we're not juggling a lot of balls in the air, then we're going to self-sabotage. Oh, and you need to allow yourself to change direction when now you have a different way. Something else lights you up and you want to do that instead. You have to allow yourself to shift gears, and your audience will get to the point where that's what they expect of you to. So time benders, energy and strategy needs to tell other people what you're planning. So basically they'll get out of your way. But so they'll be on board and be very supportive and helpful with whatever it is that you're wanting to do. Okay. You need to respond to what grabs your attention. And your creative flow, the minute you're interacted, you're gonna have a little anger, and you can respond to things like clients, what makes you angry, and being asked from others to do things. Okay, so time bender in business works in bursts of energy. So you are not typical go, 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 go energizer bunny like generators tend to be. You are actually go, 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 someone pulled the plug, I need a rest. And then you're, oh, go, 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 go. Oh, someone pulled the plug, I need a rest. And that rhythm is going to be very unique to you. Some of us have, individual circuitry. That is very individual energy. So your rhythm will be your own, versus tribal, which is going to be a little bit more consistent, and then collective, which will be more consistent. So it's all in, basically how you're wired. But your bursts of energy, you're going to have bursts and you're going to have downtime, and then you'll have a burst. So paying attention to that energy cycle is huge. Okay, so what mastery looks like for time benders. So for me, what it has looked like is that I have a great idea, a really creative idea. And so I write it down, I flush it out, I just dump everything I can think about it. I can see the web page, I can see the content, I can see the images I use. I put it all into Evernote, right? Because I have an open head and open Ajna. So I download all that information, I put it into Evernote, and then I move on to what my real project is at the current moment, which probably is not that. That needs to bake and sit a while longer, because if I had all the pieces, then I could say something, I could start talking about it. Well, even just downloading it, I can mention it to someone, and then all of a sudden it pops in. Yeah. So, yeah, I got somebody have their hand raised. Do I need to answer that?
No.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, so that's one thing about the process, is that you go off and you do what, you're actually supposed to be doing, or what you had going already. So, then usually you'll be asked for something and be like, oh, wait a minute, I actually have content I've already created on that 2 years ago, or shorter. But anyway, I find that that happens a lot. And that's the mastery process, is for manifesting generators to create, download, dump something, an idea, a great idea, to mention it to someone. And then when it shows up, when you're asked for it, or it's time, it will show up, and then you can respond using the content you've already created. Because I was having challenges with a girlfriend of mine who was a client who was asking me, do can you talk to me about being emotionally defined and what that looks like in my business? And I look back and I'm like, I can't seem to think of anything. I mean, besides the regular stuff. And I was going back through all of my blog posts and all of the content I created like 2 years ago. And I found a post that was all about being emotionally defined. And I was like, oh, who knew 2 years ago I downloaded this? So that's one of the gifts of mastery as a manifesting generator, is that generator type, is that you will come back to it. Manifesting generators tend to come back. We do. So in marketing, again, it's waiting for something to respond to, even though you know what's coming. What's the next step? So we can ask yes, no questions, right? Being a generator type. But also, if you're emotionally defined, asking, how do you feel about this? Does this feel right for you? And things like that will allow people to start the conversation by answering you. Sharing without expectations allows you to put it out into the world, and almost like proof to the universe that you want to do this is by saying something. And then creating, but not offering it until someone else or something outside of you pops up for you to respond to, is the way you don't get crickets. So, I mean, how many of us have actually created something and gone, oh my gosh, this is brilliant. You've put together the presentation, you've put together the accounting and all the back end so that they can pay for it. And you share it with your audience and they're like, nothing, not even a like. You're like, what the hell? And it's because you weren't creating it in response to something. It was just a great idea. And I find that a lot of times that is a precursor that something is coming where you're going to need that. It's just not right now. So time bender business models. So classes, retreats, courses, whatever lights you up, repurposing your content, always helpful, because then you're not constantly having to recreate the wheel. You can just put it out there in the form of a tiny course or a class. Your passion equals your profit. And then work, then rest, typically not 9 to 5. And then hire out what you do not love doing. Can't say that enough. Okay, projector. Okay, we need to wrap this up. So doing business as a projector, which is an orchestrator. So my friends, so the people I've worked with that are been projectors, great guides and mentors. My 10-year-old is a projector, wants to learn everything about something so she can turn around and tell someone else how to do it. I already know how to do this. Yeah. So has an idea. It's great. You share it with your audience, and then you wait for people to invite you to recognize you as being brilliant as saying that. And that way you can share, and that you've got to follow the fun. If you're not following the fun, it's not going to land very well. It's going to be, boring is like the worst thing you can do. Okay. So an orchestrator in business. So basically here, orchestrators, 22% of the population. A lot of them have been brought up as generators, doers, often bitter when you're not invited or you're not recognized or you speak out of turn, get your hands slapped, get a little pissed. Here to manage others and often can see what other people need, especially one-on-one. I find my projectors do very well one-on-one because they can see exactly what you need and how to, what the next step would be. They're just brilliant. And again, following the fun is really where y'all need to be. Great with one-on-one work, but not all the time because it can be exhausting. You need to talk things out. Oh my goodness. My projector talks like constantly. But yeah, a lot of the times you'll hear your own solutions by talking about it. And so, yeah, talking with, doing your marketing and stuff through like where you can actually speak is great, like TikTok, Instagram and stuff. Yeah, because when your energy is really, really high and you're excited, you will naturally bring recognition and bring invitations into you. And so it's keeping in that fun. It's just keeping in the fun. So marketing, use the words you in the copy instead of me or, yeah. So you is like an invitation. Everything needs to be an invitation with an orchestrator. And by inviting people using your sales copy, they tend to go, ooh, I'm being invited. I mean, everything, website, any of your opt-ins, and just by showing everybody that I find this is fun and I love doing this, people will recognize you for it and they'll start asking you, ooh, I want to do that too. How did you do that? And that's what you're looking for. So business models, group programs and trainings, licensing and certification. I mean, that's primary for y'all. Do it once, multiple payout over time. I mean, that is ideal because it's a do it once and then one and done. And leveraging your time is going to be huge. And again, it has to feel fun and exciting. Doing business as a calibrator. So these are the reflectors. This is 1% of the population. So I don't know how many of those we have on the call, but I've only met one, and she was amazing. So, I mean, they're really the barometer of community. So it's all about having an idea, sharing it with your community. And while you're waiting, you basically get to research it and kind of dig out and figure out, ooh, how does this really feel for me? Because you need time. Basically, time is your best friend. Being pushed to do things is the one thing you just cannot do. And you need to be wait to be recognized by doing what feels good and what taking your time to mull things over and stuff. People will come to you for guidance and everything. Definitely not designed for an 8-hour day. Oh, no, no, no. And you need a sanctuary. So having someplace you can go, even if you go out into the world to meet with clients, having someplace you can go and come back into the world to ground, being outside in nature, having a space in your house that's your little den is like perfect for a calibrator. You have to have a sanctuary. Let's see, money, everything needs to be in a cycle, and it's your energy cycle. And your community is really where you'll find your audience, is in your communities that really resonate with you. Because if you really feel connected to them, you'll want to share what you love. And by doing that, people will recognize you and ask you to help. And that's what calibrators are all about. It's helping us calibrate. They can see the potential in everything. They need sanctuary. They have to love who they hang out with. They have to do what feels fun and exciting, and take your time. Do not be pushed into anything. Waiting a moon cycle is your typical time of processing, and really, really loving where you are and who you're with. It's huge. And then having that pocket of sanctuary. Reflectors in business, when your energy is really high and you feel connected to the people around you and you're really enjoying yourself, that's when you'll attract clients. Amazing how that works. So calibrator marketing, that is Facebook groups. It's going to be community. So you're building your marketing around community, creating community, being involved in community. Where can you connect most with people in an environment that's very supportive to how you feel? So calibrator really needs to have a team that will do the work for you that you don't want to do, but also understands that this is how you use energy, and that they're really behind you and they understand you. Having systems in place is a very big deal, because you want to be able to have things coming in, income coming in, when you are not working, because you've got to rest. And you've got to build rest cycles into your day. So it's a very conscious effort. Okay, so what else is in your business chart? Oh my goodness, there are so many other things that affect your business. Your profiles will tell you how you connect and communicate with your clients. Open centers and defined centers. Open centers will tell you, how you process other people's energy, and where all your wisdom is. Your planets will talk about your purpose, your business purpose, your message, the desk work you need to be doing. I mean, it's all in here. And so that's basically my next class is next Friday, or is the 7th and 16th. And that is available on the website. That is our next class. We're going to be diving into looking at your charts, looking at your business purpose, your message, relationships, your why, and that kind of thing, and really aligning your business using that information to give you a starting point. And I find that a lot of the times clients are already really close. If they're following what they're pulled to do and what really excites them and lights them up, they're really close already with a lot of the things that are in their chart. So if you do want to go ahead and do that, find out what your genius is, who you're meant to serve, that kind of thing. The cost of the class will be $22 until Sunday, and then it'll go up to $47. So I'm really interested to see. Hopefully you guys will want to take it. So I'd love to see what's in your charts. And then I'm sorry.
I'm wondering, do you have the direct link for the class info? Is that on this? Was that on one of your slides ahead of time?
Let's see. No, but I can put it in the chat.
That would be wonderful. They're asking for that.
Sure.
And there's no coupon that they need for it. It's just on
No,
your site,
just
it's
until
20.
Sunday. And I've only promoted it to this group. So you guys are going to be, first ones in.
Maybe ask what happens if my outer reality is giving me nothing to respond to when it comes to my business.
So my answer to that is, what are you pulled to do? And it doesn't have to necessarily be business, but what are you pulled to do? Because our business is often us being in the right place at the right time, but it sometimes has nothing to do with business, because you can have things to respond to, or invitations, or being recognized just quite simply by going to the grocery store. So my answer to that is, if you're not being pulled to do anything in your business, nothing's lighting you up in your business, then what are you being pulled to? Because there's something else that's going on that needs your attention. Does that make sense?
The next question is, as a generator, can I still put my business on LinkedIn? Do a contest, for example, and have good success, or how would you go about that?
Okay, so say the first part of that again.
As a generator, can I still put my biz on LinkedIn? Can I do a contest as an example on LinkedIn? I think a generator could have it. Is that a good?
Yeah, absolutely.
Strategy?
Yeah, because if you really enjoy what you're sharing about you really enjoy putting out the contest, and it's something that really excites you, and you can talk about it outside of the contest that lights you up. Having that kind of like challenges and stuff are fun. And I've used them before, and they're great for bringing in people interested in what you're doing. So absolutely, as a generator, challenges, if they're up your alley, they're up your alley. Ultimately, what you are pulled to do is what you're pulled to do. That's what Spirit's saying you need to be doing. Sacral is trying to go, hey, look at me, look at me. So yeah, if you're pulled to do it, try it. That's exactly where you need to be putting your energy.
Okay. Absolutely. I'm still waiting for your link in the chat.
I know, I'm sorry.
So people know where to register.
I know, I'm talking.
We'll be posting the replay up on Facebook. It'll also be on YouTube and on our blog, along with the other social media channels. And if they have questions, because we're at the end of the program right now, or at the end of the session, and there were some other questions that came in. Is there a way for them to contact you if they had questions about the program?
They can DM me on Facebook. They can, I'll put my email. They can email me, they can message me on Instagram.
So that all these will also be under all these links will also be under the replay.
Yeah.
And then there was a question earlier. You had so much information on your graphics.
Yeah.
There were people that were wondering if there was any way that they could get a copy of your slide.
Yes. So these are, if you'll email me, I'll give you, it's called a quick starter guide for each particular, I have it broken down into a guide for each particular energy type. So if you just email me, I'll send you a copy. I don't know if my admin has it live yet, because we created them last week. So yes, if you're interested in copy, just email me and I will send it to you.
I mean, the links are from Cristy right above in the chat. And thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
The email is Cristy@CristyNix.com. Both the link for the quick starter class and her email and her how you can contact with her on Facebook or Instagram are now in the chat. Thank you very much.
Yes, thanks for having me. I so enjoyed it.
And